We didn't plan to make a Lead Snake record or whatever. We sat with a blank canvas and just came up totally unprepared, not ill-prepared, but unprepared to work. And who is going to dictate to us, with the greatest respect? And that's not being bombastic. Who's going to turn around and say, ooh, you should remake Stairway or Rock and Roll or whatever? Nobody. Nobody interfered. The plan is that we want to take this music to the live stage, and it should be a very interesting ticket anyway. Sure. We both agreed almost 2 years ago that we would want to and feature Zeppelin, Whitesnake, and whatever we feel.
I mean, even when we were writing the numbers, for instance, Boys, what you referred to earlier on, when we got that together, we were saying, well, this is going to be
opening track, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about opening tracks and thinking about them in a live context.
It's a smile, a grin, you know.
Would you be doing any Yardbirds in Deep Purple by any chance? Would you go that far
Well,
back?
there's a hint of Yardbirds on one particular track on
Whisper a Prayer.
Whisper a Prayer. There's a nod of respect. I was an enormous fan of the Yardbirds, even what we call the commercial period, right through the psychedelic or psychedouli or whatever. All the way, I adored the Yardbirds.
I was a fan of the Yardbirds when I was doing studio work and jumped at the opportunity to join them, so that's how much I liked them. Certainly from even back to the Yardbirds.
Scary creative days.
Yeah, creative, totally experimental in their day. And of course this was pushing the horizons further and further on.
One of the things that's exemplary about Jimmy's past work, particularly the Zeppelin work, is the actual sonics of the record. That when he remastered it, it gave a little more breath, but it still stood up before, without a doubt. If it was current radio status where you have all of these tracks segued together, there was never any date on the sound of Led Zeppelin at all.
If you want to relate this to Zeppelin, I spent 10 years of developing my guitar style through that, and that's me. That's all there is to it. It's my identity. If there's any comparison to Zeppelin with my guitar playing, it's a bit ridiculous, really.
You must remember something for the uninformed, that Jimmy was the alchemist behind all of that. Comparisons are inevitable. You have, Jimmy Page and David Coverdale working together. There are bound to be similarities to former works because that's who we are.
The first time the Whitesnake video came out, our operators in the studio, the thing would come on and they'd all sing way down inside in the break, and we'd all turn around and go, yeah, that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Well, the thing is that David is the only one who's pretending that it's not happening.
Everyone is entitled to an opinion. It's very difficult because I personally won't be drawn into any kind of verbal Wimbledon or verbal tennis match or whatever. I have the greatest respect for Robert and the circumstances. It's much more interesting to talk about now and potential tomorrows. We stick to analog tape in the studio, by all means utilizing an SSL desk. But we stuck to analog, which helped, we feel, absolutely consciously hear breathing and more balls on 2-inch tape than or whatever.
It's much warmer than digital, just recording straight onto digital. And a lot of people are returning back to analog and then just coming down to digital, the final process of mastering.
We honestly believe you can capture emotion on tape, that moment. And digital, as brilliant and as practical as it is, doesn't seem to capture that warmth, that humanity.
I think probably the thing that I look at is that you're united in your blues-based rock. Is that true?
Absolutely. That was one of the common denominator.
That's where all the riffs come from anyway. I mean, as far as that, blues music had riffs, and of course that generated itself in rock and roll. And it's still with us now. Basically, it's just my love of the music. And then at the point where I actually was part of it and recognised for being that, I've never just wanted to take it easy. I've always given myself a hard time as far as searching inside and coming up with ideas and textures and things. So that's probably what's kept me there. Apart from the the past catalogue of what I've achieved.
It's neither of us are quite ready for fishing yet.
No, there's a lot.